Hello everyone and welcome to the Watchful Webinar. Watchful is packed with useful features like updating your Joomla site remotely and Joomla-specific add-ons. You can create remote backups, and by leveraging Watchful's powerful activity logging, you can also receive notifications when important site files are modified. Watchful also saves you time by letting you manage all of your Joomla websites in one convenient location. Now, my name is Bernie. I'm from CloudAccess.net. I'm going to be your host and moderator today. We are the official host of the demo trial of Joomla at demo.joomla.org, and through our platform you can launch unlimited free trials of Joomla. Each demo trial site is active for 30 days, and you can upgrade to a paid hosting package at any time. Your presenter today is Jessica Dunbar from Anything Digital. Now, Jessica is a true generalist specialist. She can code in a pinch, and she understands science and creative aspects around inbound marketing, but she can also read and interpret data that provides opportunities to make profitable websites. Again, she represents Anything Digital, and we also have Peter from Switzerland available. Peter is from Anetes, a co-founder of Watchful. So both of these folks are here today. Jessica, good morning. Peter, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And Jessica and Peter are Jessica's going to do most of the presentation, and Peter's going to jump in when necessary, and both Jessica and Peter are available after the webinar for questions. Just to fill you in on a little bit of an agenda, today you're going to learn how to update and back up Joomla and Joomla add-ons remotely. You'll learn about Watchful's support for commercial add-ons for Akiba, No Number, and the ACL Manager. You'll learn how to utilize powerful activity logging, receive notifications when your site files are modified, manage all of your websites in one location, and save time by ensuring that critical maintenance tasks are implemented consistently. Now, you see my contact information there at the bottom of this screen. You can tweet at me during the webinar if you like at CloudAccess, or send me an email directly at webinars@CloudAccess.net. You can also find a GoToMeeting slide-out question area where you can post a question to Jessica or Peter. You can ask me about Cloud Access as well if you'd like. I think Jessica kind of likes to get to some questions intermittently throughout the presentation. So we do have...
Yes, I do some surprise questions.
Cool. Yeah, we do have a lot of people registered today, so we do hope to get to your question, but I'm sure Jessica can point us to a place to follow up after today's webinar if you'd like to. And just to let you know, she'll probably give you some more information about a great offer exclusive for Cloud Access clients. Get 50% off any of the Watchful consumer plans today, and that is actually an offer good for 6 months. I'm sure we'll talk more about that. And I am recording this webinar, so you know, and it will be available later today on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/cloudaccess. I'll show you how to access it a little bit later today, but I'm going to go ahead and pass the presentation over to you, Jessica, if you're ready.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Bernie. Actually, what I'm mostly going to focus on today is, or what I want you to learn from this webinar is all about creating good practices on monitoring and maintenance for your websites. A little bit on good planning for disaster recovery. I'll also take you through some personal stories. And at the end, I'll take you through a couple different workflows of Watchful with multiple sites and single sites. Bernie, I always have to give a huge shout out. Thank you so much for hosting this webinar, and thank you everyone who is here with us today. Okay, so this is our team. We are all remote from around the world: Switzerland, Romania, Wisconsin, USA, West Virginia, USA. Pierre, am I missing anywhere?
And David, our graphist from Switzerland too.
Oh, did I must have put his last name in there. Whoopsie. Oh, I did. Yes, I did. I missed one team member. I always do. Our team is actually getting fairly big. I used to introduce everyone singly, but it would take me about 15 minutes to do that. So, this is our team. We are rock stars. It's the strongest team I've ever worked with in my entire life. Watching the chats, I'm the marketing director, so I mainly watch them go through their bug squashing and updating every day. But they're the most collaborative team I've ever worked with. I really like collaborative webinars, even though I can't hear you talking. I'd like to know where everyone's from. So if you want to tweet at Watchful and Cloud Access and let us know where you're from. Some recent news. We just made it 1 year. And we also have acquired Admin Incredible. Both Watchful and Admin Incredible allow users to manage all of their Joomla-based websites in a centralized dashboard. We will have more details about that coming out shortly. And if you happen to be visiting Joomla World Conference this November, please come say hi to us. Bernie, I think you're going to be at Joomla World Conference as well?
Yeah, we'll be there.
Correct? Awesome. Okay, I said before that I was the marketing director for Anything Digital, and this is absolutely true. But before that, I was a sysadmin for an agency. We had about 200 to 300 sites, a small data center, locker that I managed, and we had one other sysadmin on site. So I do have a little bit of experience working with the servers, keeping everything up to date, working with security, and all of the good stuff that goes along with that. This is how my last day at my previous employment went. So the weekend before I started with Watchful and Anything Digital, I received that panic phone call about a hacked site, and it happened to be a very high-profile client that had a meeting in the afternoon, and they used this Joomla site as an intranet and used it to present to their clients. I went in, I had a Kiba backup, plus our servers were taking 24-hour backups twice a day. So the first thing I did was, because it was easiest, I was going to restore from our server, and it failed. I didn't think it was a big deal because, like a good sysadmin, like a good Joomla website builder, I had a Kiba backup. So I pulled the backup and started to try to run the kickstart and go through my restore process of a Kiba backup, and I couldn't get it to run. Things were out of date, and I don't believe it was completely configured to be running backup. So the backup was a little bit over 2 years old. So after multiple failed backups, I had started to get pretty nervous. I called our other sysadmin and let him know what was going on. I also had to update the client. We are now 2 or 3 hours into trying to restore her site. So the day before I started at Watchful, I phoned a friend. I called Vic, and I said, I think we can probably get this restore going, but I think I'm going to need some help with this issue. Are you available in the next hour to run some malware scanners and help me get this fixed? And he, of course, my new boss, said he would happily help me fix this hacked site. Well, throughout the process, Vic got in, and right while we were all working together to restore and hopefully get this site up in time for their presentation, we noticed that actually there was a security issue with cPanel and an old server, and our whole server had been compromised. So there was only a small number of sites on there because we were migrating, but that one hadn't been migrated yet. So this is what I ended up doing on my last day of work. My last day of no sleep, my last day of sysadmin. I am fully now retired as a sysadmin. But I wanted to share that little bit of experience with you because I know we've all been there and we've all been panicked And we've all been there where our client is panicking and calling every 5 minutes to see where you're at in the process. There were a lot of good things that I did, even though it ended up in failure. I had planning, I had procedures in place, but I forgot one major thing: practice. I had multiple backups, but an untested backup is no good if you don't ever practice restoring. So planning. Here's some documentation that we actually had put together pretty well. And I'm going to ask this to everyone here. What is your website accepted amount of downtime when there's an outage or maintenance? What's the accepted amount of time? Is anyone chatting, Bernie?
A few folks are letting you know where they're attending from. Renato is from Brazil, Mohammed from Egypt, Daniel from California, Brian from New York, Jay is from New York as well, and Jean-Pierre from France.
Awesome.
Yeah, a couple people are talking about downtime, and I'm not sure if you're talking monthly, but Renato replied 5 minutes, Janet 30 minutes, Jean-Pierre
Perfect.
2 hours, David said a few hours.
Yes, a couple hours is generally acceptable. I generally put that to cost because there's a lot of things that goes into play as a website owner. It's the availability of the sysadmin, the financial risk with the downtime. And then if you're host or you have to drive out to a data center, how far does it take to get there? So all that stuff gets calculated in. And then when you have big enterprise companies such as Walmart that go down on the biggest shopping day in the USA is called Black Friday, which is the day after Thanksgiving. So they were down for about 2.5 hours, 2 or 3 years ago, which cost them roughly $5 million in that 2 to 3 hours. So high e-commerce sites it costs them a lot of money. So having these types of things in documentation can really help know what expectations are. So when a client comes and they're purchasing hosting from you, these are things you should ask them. If their expectations are 5 minutes, or yours are 5 minutes, you need to plan for that, and that takes quite a bit of planning. What is your monthly downtime guarantee for Cloud Access? Is it 99.9? 99.98?
Yep, 99.9 uptime guarantee.
Over the course of a year?
Well, it's on a monthly
So,
basis. If we have to measure it, it's on a monthly basis, but we usually don't.
Okay, so in a general sense, over the course of a year, that's 72 hours of accepted downtime is 99.9% up, I guess, would be a total of, they're allotted or contracted roughly 72 hours a year. So once you get planning and you ask yourself, how can you help or how can you prevent? Of course, there's a Kiba backup, there's admin tools, there's monitoring, there's all types of different monitoring, host monitoring, there's services like Watchful, there's also lots of other enterprise services. New Relic was one, and actually our cPanel that we used was VirtualMin, sent me monitoring emails, and then your updates. What other tools do you as users use for preventative monitoring, updating, anything that you can think of to help keep your websites up, alive, and secure?
Well, Jean-Pierre replied Watchful and Pingdom. Janet's replying RS Firewall.
Yes. Awesome.
David wrote, I reduced the risk by having Cloud Access manage the site from backups, updates, and security, because we do have some control panel features here that allow our clients to back up and update.
Perfect.
Yep.
And backups. You never can have enough backups. A lot of web administrators have websites that are hosted with different hosts all over. So they'd have to log into different different panels to retrieve their backups. Also, local backups and your remote backups should be done all the time. I don't think I can stress enough about backups. Like I just explained, I was backing up as a host. I also had Akiba working. I did also have a local backup on an old Windows Vista machine. That's how we actually rebuilt that site that I was talking about. So I at least have the template there. And practice. Practice your backups. How many people practice restoring at least once a month, one site a month? I know your team does, Bernie. There's a 100% chance of technology failure at just about any given time. Hardware is not going to last forever. Outages happen. Hacked sites and security are one of the biggest risks. And changes in technology also cause failure. Updates, PHP versions, those types of changes, especially for hosts, are a big deal. So you need to prepare for the worst. What I want to talk to you about is how you can add Watchful in your planning. And there's roughly 5 steps that I think make it very easy for you to add to your web administration, your monitoring, and your everyday web maintenance plan, whether you're a host or a web administrator. If you have one site or 300 Joomla sites, you can use Watchful can assist you with your plan. The dashboard, verifying, review, update, and then always check your sites to make sure they're working. And I'm going to walk you through that. First, we're going to go through a single site. The first part is you're going to check when was the last scheduled backup. And then you can click on your site and you simply click backup. And while your backup is performing, you'll be able to see what components and what extensions need updating as well. And once everything is all clear, you can click the refresh and see that your updates, your Joomla install is up to date. Now, once you go into extensions, you can click into your site and you can either click on all of the extensions that need updating, components and modules, and with one click you can click Update All. You can also do your checking your notes to make sure that if you need to do any manual updates. There are some developers who have their updater does not install. We're working on bringing in other extensions so that you can update from our dashboard. Developers have their own ways and their own systems that we are working on getting integrated as quickly as possible. Pierre, do you have anything to add on to that about updating the extensions from the back end? I went through it fairly quickly, and I know.
We try to support more and more remote update system, but at this stage we have a couple of commercial extensions that we support, but that will increase in the future.
Akiba and No Number are paid extensions.
And ACO Manager too.
Yes. And you can use the Update All for your extensions, or you can update them individually. So if you need to update the Watchful client, you can click it individually or simply click Update All. Finally, check that everything is working as expected. It's probably one of the most important things when you're working with just one site. Do a quick click through and make sure everything is still working as it was before. We also have a little notes option that you can update as you need, either to say that you need to update this extension or there's a piece that needs to have a manual update are good things to put in there. Any type of notes that will help you as you're managing more and more sites in your back end. Multiple site management is fairly close to the same process. You'll always check your last scheduled backup and click your site and click backup. For the Joomla installs, or you can click the multiple sites and click update all. So in 2 clicks you can have all of your Joomla installs updated. Make sure to review your update list. Nothing was updated or overwritten. And then again you're going to want to update all of your extensions, components, your modules, and your plugins. And you can use the update all feature, or you can update them individually depending on your current setup. Any manual updates, you need to log into the site itself to manage those updates. And then of course check the site and make sure things are working as expected. Those are basically 5 easy steps, day-to-day management, to make sure everything is updated and managed, backups are working properly. Of course, you're going to want to have your hosts backing up so you have some data redundancy. And there's additional security measures that we can talk about if you have any questions. But that is the basic overview of Watchful and how easy it is to maintain multiple sites or a single site with a few easy clicks. Pierre, did you have anything to add to that?
Maybe some extra check is very useful. We control every 3 hours that all your index.php file from templates, for example, or configuration.php file are not modified by someone else. And so you can receive alert from some critical files. And I found this feature really useful day by day.
Yes. How many emails do you get sent a day about the critical your monitoring?
We monitor the website every 3 hours. So if everything is fine, we will not receive an email. Or if something happens, for example, if you change from one version of PHP to another, you will receive an alert.
Does anyone have any questions for us?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people are looking forward to a demonstration to see how things work from the backup or from the back end a little bit. You know, Jean-Pierre's talking a lot about not being able to use it or being unclear about some features of Watchful, like the validity button specifically. And he wrote that he doesn't have a Kiba backup working correctly, and I'm not sure if that's are you guys using a Kiba as part of Watchful? Is that how this works?
No, it's Watchful is a big remote, in fact. So we send orders to a Kiba backup, or we send orders to Joomla updaters.
Okay, because one question Dom has, so you link with a Kiba. Jean-Pierre might need a little bit of more one-on-one help. His backups don't seem to be working, so hopefully we get a place where Jean-Pierre can go and get some support for the component.
Jean-Pierre, feel free to contact me, and in French too, of course.
Okay, great.
It's easier for you.
Jean-Pierre, if you want to reach out to me at CloudAccess on Twitter, I can get you some more details on how to get in touch with Peter. Richard posted a question. Are scheduled backups available through Watchful?
Yes.
Okay, great.
You can do that through the remote. You can do that through a Kiba or the remote updater on the back end of Watchful. I'm logging in. I have to make sure that I have live accounts.
Dom posted a question. Does Watchful do malware monitoring and cleanup?
Not really, not as a deep scanner, but we are working with Sucuri. So into the Watchful dashboard, you can run a Sucuri scan, and you receive some alert if one of your critical file is modified. So, but it's not a full scanner. We are working now to try to find a solution, maybe with an app, to do an external scanner.
Okay. All right.
And maybe some word about apps, because one of the great things, you can extend the monitoring thing with apps. For example, if you are using Assimailing as a mailing manager, we have an app that raises an alert if the queue stop during or we have apps for e-commerce and apps for Joomla user. For example, if you have a new administrator, and it's a good idea to have a look who set this new administrator.
All right. So I think there's still some questions about how the backups are actually being created if you're linking through Akiba or Sucuri.
Yes. So it's as I said, Watchful is a big remote. So we send orders with JSON, with an encrypted JSON to the website, and Akiba is running, and so we send orders to Akiba to run a backup, and we control at the end if the backup run fine or failed for a reason or another.
All right. And again, Renato has posted it would be nice to see how the component is installed and configured and set up.
Are there any more questions that we can, while I get logged in, I can show a quick install of?
Richard posted another question. In your monitoring aspect of the extension, do you have a feature that looks at the traffic or the number of visits to the website? So are there analytics built into Watchful?
Not
there
yet.
are not for SEO purposes. Is that what he's asking?
It sounds like it, and it sounds like it's something that Peter's been thinking about.
But if you have we have a custom MySQL app, for example. So if you have this kind of information to your database, you can run a query every 3 hours, and you can raise alert based on this query. Or it's really easy to develop an app in few lines of code.
All right, I think that's all the questions we have for now. So if you guys want to get to that demonstration, that'd be great.
Okay, I actually have Watchful installed already, but I'll go through the motions. So Watchful installs, the client installs like any other extension, so you'll choose wherever you're installing from and click Upload and Install. Once you get there, you will see a big green screen with your secret key. You'll need to copy that and go into your Watchful website, and this is where you type your secret key. And then you save and close, and that's when you validate your website. Correct, Pierre?
And I have a good
Yes.
news with the new version. This will be most automatic. So if you have the dashboard open and you just install the new client that will be released I hope in 1 week, you have just to click on a button and you will have all your data transferred to your dashboard. You will not have to retype the name of the website and the key.
And then once you install so Akiba Backup and Admin Tools, once you have it all installed, you need to enable the remote, and if you choose this secret word, and once you go into your dashboard, you can add the secret password there. I installed this just yesterday, so, and this is where you can schedule your backups for Akiba.
While that's completing, Don posted a question. Can you set how many backups to keep? Do you have a sort of retention cycle that will delete old backups and all of that?
You can configure this in Akeba because you are using a profile. If you click on the edit button of the website, that's fine, you will see you can choose a profile and you can define different profile into Akeba. And into this profile you can say, I will keep the backup during 2 weeks or 2 months or what you want.
Very good.
Okay, is there anything else that anyone wanted me to go through?
Well, I think there's still a little bit of question about choosing that backup profile. So it looks like you can choose your Akeba. You can choose Akeba backup. Is the entire backup part of Watchful provided through Akeba? Do you have to use Akeba, or are there different options there?
If we are only supporting Akeba
okay.
for backups. So you have to, but it's work with both the free version and the pro version.
Very good. I think that was the question, but there are many other, in addition to the backups, folks, there are many other features of Watchful here.
Okay, we could take two more questions I think would be good.
Only one other from Brian at this point. If you have multiple backup profiles in Akeba, can you run multiple backups using different profiles?
No, you have to choose one. But maybe we will improve that in the future.
All right, that's it on questions, Brian. Hopefully that helps. Brian says thanks, so I think so.
Well, thank you, everyone. I would love a couple tweets. I will have the webinar uploaded on Anything Digital in about 30 minutes or so.
All right, folks. So if you would like to see more of the demonstration on Jessica's part, let us know if you have any additional questions. And this is our site. This is CloudAccess.net. If you would like to watch a recording of this webinar, we will have it up a little bit later today on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CloudAccess. We have over 6,000 subscribers now. So if you do subscribe to our channel, you'll receive a notification every time a new training webinar becomes available. This webinar is going to be placed right here under the special Joomla webinars playlist. You can also take a look at some of our upcoming webinar events by going to Training and Joomla Webinars here. And we do have free daily webinars where you can learn the basics of Joomla, or several upcoming special webinars with a few more to add to this list. Next week we have a Matukio webinar about events management, and then we have a OgoSense webinar about increasing the number and quality of leads for your Joomla site. A lot of people saying thank you. And Jean-Pierre is going to follow up with Peter directly. Jess and Peter, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you.
For the webinar. Thank you to all attendees. And feel free to contact us or say by the contact form if you have more questions. I will be happy to answer.
All right, folks. Thanks for attending, and good luck developing your Joomla site. We hope to see you in a webinar real soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.